Mick from Slipknot. Just want to take you through my new MTM100 signature model from Ibanez. Show you some of the features and talk a little bit about why it is the way it is. About a year and a half ago, I got a chance to look at some different designs that they were thinking about putting into production. And this was one of them, and it immediately jumped out, and I liked it. One thing I really like is the way it puts my elbow out, my arm out. So instead of having to pick from your wrist, with your body, your arm laid over the body of the guitar. I mean, obviously you could still pick from your wrist, but it allows a nice resting point where you can pivot, from your elbow, and you can keep your wrist tighter. And I find, for me anyway, that it's much more comfortable when I'm doing speed picking, rhythm stuff. So, construction of the guitar, it's a 5-piece laminated neck through with walnut and maple. Very, very strong neck. Doesn't want to move. Not all rubbery, not noodly in any way. The bridges that I use are fixed. I mean, I love the ability to have the string terminate here, lock, fine tuners, but then you don't have the whole knock in the body. So you got just that much more mass in your body, a bunch of mass added when you throw this bridge in. It's a fairly hefty bridge design. On these, there is a volute on the back of the neck for strength. Again, theoretically, it could add a little bit to the overall sound. I mean, it helps any kind of mass you add through here. Typically, it's going to sound better. I mean, when you really thin a neck out too much, you start losing tone, but you gain playability. So this is a really good combination of the two. You don't give up too much wood. You don't sacrifice the playability. It's a Wizard 3 neck. My fretboard, this is rosewood, pretty flat. I like my fingerboards fairly wide and flat. I mean, it's sort of like an electric version of a classical neck, almost. And overall, when the guitar is not, looks like it's kind of big, but it's not really actually that big. It strikes a balance. It's not too big, but it's big enough that you hit a note and it just holds. I mean, there's a marked difference over most. Yeah, the sustain is pretty amazing. Like, it is a big difference. And as with all my guitars that I have made, it's got reversed headstock, my 7 inlays, and one volume knob with a switch. 3-way switch, neck, both, bridge. I find that, for playing metal, how often do you ever touch a tone control? And every pot you run to, you're going to run a little signal to ground, so you'll actually end up with a little bit of a hotter signal running just to your volume, and using the switch to split them. So, why give up any signal to something that you're not going to use in the first place? So that even helps with the output, in the guitar. So the pickups were designed, with this kind of guitar in mind. What works best, when something is purpose-built for big strings and low tuning, as opposed to just forcing something to work. And it really makes a big difference. Like, it ends up being a lot tighter. It's not, it doesn't sacrifice any bottom end to stay tight. It's just the way it handles the frequencies. They did a great job of finding, what this particular frequency spectrum needs optimally, and then tuning a pickup, more in that range. And I've put these in a bunch of guitars that are tuned up to E, and they sound great too. So this is the MTM100. The higher model, neck through. It's also available in a bolt-on version, the MTM10. Not giving up much, but like these, right out of the box, straight in the studio. I mean, they're perfect.